Stealing Focus!
Welcome to episode 4 of Fosse, Verdon Vlogs. We're here to talk about episode 4 entitled Glory, Glory. Glory, glory. I'm not going to sing it really loud because it's like 11 o'clock at night. So, we're here to talk about episode 4 of Fosse Verdon. And this was a really fun, juicy episode.
Fun and intense.
Yeah, this was like, I turned to Megan at one point and I was like, this is like my Avengers Endgame. Because every 2 seconds I was like, John Rubinstein, Steven Schwartz, Ben Vereen, Leland Palmer, Irene Ryan. I mean, it was
The gang's all here.
It was the cast and crew of Pippin. So this whole episode was all kind of in the Pippin world. I have notes.
She has notes.
But okay. So my favorite thing about this episode was how much they used the Pippin score. So they used Simple Joys, Extraordinary, Corner of the Sky.
The whole finale.
Yeah, the whole finale.
Yeah.
But those 3 songs, Simple Joys, Extraordinary, Corner of the Sky, they had different versions that they recorded specifically for this episode that were like a little more rocky, a little more modern poppy. So I'm interested to see where those recordings came from. I want them very bad. And then we got the deep cut of the Glory dance break, that little da 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 da. So they play that in Pippin when everybody's dying in war. It's glorious. And so they're doing this cheesy dance. It's very Fosse. It's very good juxtaposition. The episode starts with the underscoring from the finale of Pippin, where the characters are singing, think about your life, Pippin, think about the dreams you've planned. And they're basically like telling him to kill himself. They're like, do it, it'll be great, it'll be awesome.
Oh yeah, this is your finale.
Yeah, this is your big triumphant moment. So that comes back at the end of the episode, but I think I'm gonna like go through it in order. So you hear about this at the beginning, and at the very beginning, it's right when Fosse is at the opening night of Cabaret. And what are the reviews? What does Cy Fuhrer come out saying? They love it! Oh, they're going nuts for it. Oh my God, they're going nuts. It's a hit. So Cabaret, of course, is a great big ol' hit. And then we get into Pippin World, and Fosse is riding high on Pippin World, and he's there in a room.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're a musical theater person, you're seeing everyone.
Oh yeah. And he's fucking
everyone. He is having...
There were so many scenes that were artistically cut to like another woman just like, oh.
Yeah. And they do one of those things where... and I'm glad they did this, because the thing is, like, Fosse was a philanderer. He hooked up with a lot of women, and some were down with it, and some were just like, no. And they kind of show what happens... You know, and kind of show how aggressive he is.
Like he almost raped.
I mean, he was very pushy. There's this story from the Fosse biography, which I don't think I've told you. So one of Fosse's, like, he tried to make a go of it in Hollywood. And when he was in Hollywood, he did this movie with Debbie Reynolds. And he's hitting on her all the time. And so one time he walks up behind her and, like, pushes his manhood into the, like, her back. And she bought him a jockstrap.
I loved it.
Because Debbie Reynolds is awesome like
Rest
that.
in peace.
But like, yeah, like for as many women who like loved him, there were just as many who he hit on and just were like, no. And then this gal, she like knees him in the balls because he's being way too handsy. And then at the next rehearsal,
she can't do anything right.
She can't do anything
He
right.
pulls her out.
And guess who's waiting in the wings? Anne Reinking. Anne Reinking has finally made her appearance. If like Gwen Verdon was his muse, like Anne Reinking is his like muse number 2.
Yeah, totally.
Like she was just like, I don't want to say a tier below because Anne Reinking is amazing.
Brilliant dancer, yeah.
She's in All That Jazz, watch her and all that jazz. She is insane. Her body is amazing. Like, she and Gwen Verdon just got his whole thing. But
She was in the Chicago revival.
Yeah, she made the Chicago revival happen pretty much, which is crazy because Chicago happened because Gwen Verdon wanted it to happen, and she played Roxy. And then in the 90s, Anne Reinking was like, well, I want Chicago to happen and get its due because it lost all the Tonys.
And she played Roxy.
And she played Roxy because Chicago lost everything to a chorus line. Because how are you gonna go up against a chorus line? You can't do it. So Margaret Qualley is playing Anne Reinking. I hope I'm saying her name right. So she's been an actress around for a while, but I remember she's in this music video by Fatboy Slim. No. Wait, who directed Fatboy Slim? Spike Jonze? Okay, she's in this music video. It's akin to the Fatboy Slim video where Weapon of Choice, where Christopher Walken is tap dancing. So she's in some music video like that, and she's basically doing what he did. She's like this weird dancer.
Never saw
She's in the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. I don't know. I'm gonna find this music video. I will put the link to it.
If you're watching, and if she doesn't find it, drop it in the comments.
I promise you this exists. I'm just telling you from memory, but I remember it being like, this gal's a really good dancer. This reminds me of the Weapon of Choice video. So anyway, even though she was on like The Leftovers, she's had a very like serious actor career, but she's also a really good dancer. And I think it shows. Like, she's doing all this amazing dancing. She's playing Anne Reinking, so like, she's no slouch.
No.
So I'm interested to see where it goes. There's this great moment where Gwen's like, she's too good for you, Bobby. He's like, what do you mean? She's like, she knows she doesn't have to go to your room to get the solo.
Yeah.
And it's true. This is the season of Bob Fosse's Triple Crown. I think it's 1973. I wasn't quite paying attention. I think it was 1973.
I don't know that they even
It was
showed the
1970.
year.
Fix it in post. In 1973, Bob Fosse won the Triple Crown. He won the Emmy for Liza with a Z, which, by the way, broke new ground for televised concerts. It's another like defining moment for Liza too. It's insane. It's amazing. Okay, Liza with a Z. Then he wins a Tony Award for Pippin, for directing Pippin, and then he wins the Oscar for directing Cabaret. And can I just say, Cabaret was up the same year as The Godfather. And no one expected Cabaret to win anything. They were like, this is the year of The Godfather. And Cabaret won something like Academy Awards. But I think it's something like 10. Like, it won a lot. It was at least nominated for 10. It won a bunch, and it kept snowballing and winning. And it's kind of crazy that it didn't win Best Picture, but The Godfather did.
I mean, I love The Godfather,
but like, it's kind of crazy. Like, that used to be a very rare thing, that the director and the picture were different winners. So Bob Fosse won Best Director for Cabaret. So he won 3 Best Director awards in the same year. So he was riding high. And so this episode really focuses on that. And he's dancing and having a grand old time and partying at the club. And then he's stumbling home, and it's
goodness.
And then we get to the end of the episode.
It was set to the finale of Pippin. Like, almost word for word, lyric for lyric, very similar. But it was all the people in his life.
Yeah.
Coming towards him.
Yeah, he was like, Ben Vereen's there, and the cast of Pippin.
And Gwen Verdon.
And then Gwen Verdon and Patty Chayefsky. So, and I was just very happy they were making use of their Norbert Leo butts. If you have Norbert Leo butts and you don't use them in a musical sequence, why do you have him there?
It's a waste of butts.
But even there, he was sitting there just like deadpan saying it. But then Gwen was kind of taking on the role of leading player at one point, and they were basically telling him to like jump out the window.
Yeah.
And the story with Pippin is that Bob Fosse actually did change the ending of Pippin. Originally, Pippin does set himself on fire, and everyone's like, "Wee, glory!" But then Fosse changed it and made it so that he doesn't do that. That he decides to be like, no, I'm going to live with this woman I fell in love with and her kid. And it's not glorious, and he knows it, but he's like, it's enough. And what was so amazing about that final sequence is that, oh God, it was all that amazing music. They did everything. They did Simple Joys. Yeah. They did Extraordinary, which is a great song to put on Bob Fosse because it's all about a guy who thinks he's God, basically. And then he's about to jump out the window, and then he gets a vision of Nicole at his funeral singing I Guess I'll Miss the Man, which is also from Pippin.
And for those of you who don't know, not to interrupt you, sorry.
No.
Nicole was his daughter.
Nicole's his daughter, yeah. So Nicole is singing I Guess I'll Miss the Man, which is, again, a song from Pippin, very sweet little folk song. And then he stops himself. And then the same thing that happens in Pippin happens with Fosse. He's looking in the mirror and he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And everyone's like, you coward. Oh, I left this for this. Blah, 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 blah. And everyone's like, oh, I thought you were something. And it kind of just like speaks to his mindset. It's like if he didn't go out in a blaze of glory, he was like worth nothing. Exactly. And then he has that sequence, and then all of a sudden he like blinks, and then all of a sudden he's in day 2 of being in a psych ward, which I think, if I recall correctly, he checked himself into. And this is before his heart attack, because his heart attack happened during Chicago. So we don't really know what happened, but it's a very exciting time. I really like this episode.
This episode was great.
There were a lot of sweet moments with Gwen and Joan Simon, who's dying. Yeah. It's funny, we're on episode 4 and we've seen Joan Simon a lot. We haven't seen Neil Simon.
No, but you can tell that her relationship with Gwen was very close.
Oh my God, their scenes together are just heartbreaking and beautiful, and I love them. Oh, I do want to say it was really sad when Sherry, the dancer, she was getting pushed out and finally was like, hey Bob, you want to get a drink?
Yeah, she's just at that point just going to sell herself.
Which, let's face it.
Happened a lot.
Happens.
It still happens.
A lot. There's this montage of Fosse riding high and Patty Chayefsky's sitting with him in the back of the limo with all the awards he's getting and going, this is bullshit, right? This is all bullshit, and this is bullshit because you're bullshit. And it's like kind of a neat scene because they were best friends and like they could talk to each other like that. And it's like Bob Fosse knew that shit. It was all just bullshit. But it also reminded me of a scene in All That Jazz where the actor who plays Lenny Bruce is sitting there going like, Gideon, you full of shit. So it kind of reminded me of that. I also liked how at the end of the montage, Fosse comes into his old house and Gwen Verdon's in bed with her new boyfriend. And like Ron. And Gwen's like, oh, Bobby. And Ron's like, hi, Mr. Fosse.
It's really uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable, but it's classic.
Oh, it was hysterical.
Yeah, it was really funny. So I don't know. I think we've said enough.
I agree.
Yeah, that was a really great ending. Just kind of like with last episode, how that first scene really felt like something directed by Fosse. The last scene in this episode really felt like something directed by Fosse. Yes. So I really appreciated that. And Pippin's awesome. Stephen Schwartz was there. Dun, 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 dun. All right. I think we've had enough.
I think so.
So we will be back next week with episode 5. Where's it gonna lead? Is that Anne Reinking gonna become something worth talking about?
She might.
I don't know. But I hear Cheetah Rivera is on the horizon. All right, everyone. So till next time, it's Fosse.